disappear. Am I
That
right?
is the correct one. Definitely.
Yeah, I thought so. But,
Microsoft won't ring you.
No.
Windows won't ring you. They won't ring you in the same way the Queen won't ring you. It
Yes.
could happen, but it's you know.
Yeah.
If they
They're obviously fishing for something.
Yeah, definitely.
I suppose they get away with it by everybody knows the word Windows and it sounds very respectable and you automatically think, oh yeah, well it
I
must
think
be
I don't want anything bad to happen. I better do what they say. You know?
Yeah.
And it works. That's the.
But I assume you guys would have contacted me. Had been anything sort of really untoward with the computer you recently sold me. So.
And if they ring up claiming to be from Microsoft, tell them to sling that.
Well, yes, that has been my reaction. Although I am tempted sometimes to sort of keep spooning them along. Don't tell them anything, but we'll just waste their time.
I once told them I didn't have a computer just to see what their reaction was.
Right.
They were like, okay.
Yes, I think I said to a double glazing man, we live in an igloo.
That works well. Though the difference is the double glazing guys just trying to make some money. These guys steal your money.
Yes,
that's the difference. Yes, it's quite bad because people fall for it. It's really quite problematic. But anyway,
right.
Well, yes,
I'm not quite sure what I'm in for today, but it sounded as though it might be fairly useful to me.
What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to get your photos. Do you transfer your photos onto your computer already?
I do.
Do you use something called Windows Live Photo Gallery, or do you just drag them over?
No, I take the card out of here, stick it into the computer, and it automatically puts them on in calendar order.
That sounds like Photo Gallery to me.
Yes, I think it is. What I then find a problem with is when I want to organise them, I'm going into my pictures and they're not there. So what should I have done?
That's very strange. When you say they're not there, what do you get when you open your pictures?
Well, not the ones that I've just put in.
Are there lots of little folders? Possibly.
I don't know. I mean, once they've gone into this picture galleries, should you actually select them and save them to something?
They're automatically saved onto your machine.
Onto the machine?
Yes.
But in order to put them into my pictures, do I have to package them and put them in?
They should be in my pictures already. That's where the default location would be. Should we have a go putting them on here and see what so we can kind of replicate the problem or something like that? That's probably the best way to do it. It's a bit fiddly to get out. Press it in and it should pop out. There we go.
Yeah, you're right. It's you've got to go the other way.
Should go in. Okay, so what did this come up on your computer as well? This little box.
Yeah, import pictures and videos.
That's the one.
From camera.
What you actually want to be using is this one's Windows Live Photo Gallery. It's Microsoft. It's free on any Windows computer.
What's the difference? I mean, to me, that shows a camera. That's what I'm trying to do: import pictures and videos.
What that does is it takes the photos from your camera and just immediately just dumps them onto your computer.
Well, that's what I've been using. Is this the problem, do you think?
Possibly. It's a pretty kind of unsophisticated, so to speak, kind of way of doing it. It just literally pulls them all off and pushes them all in without really much care, as it were.
Right.
A slightly better one is this import pictures and videos.
Right.
So it's just scanning your camera. So it's found 90 photos.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and it shows you a little preview of some of them. And the default is to review, organise and group them. So that's what we want, that's good. So let's do next. Now this is group them by date. At the moment it's in 8 groups. So you see this little slider here. If we click on that, you click and hold. So it's 1 day between groups. Maybe you take it this way. So it goes down to half an hour. It's quite sensitive. So you can get a matter of hours between each group. And likewise if you go the other way, days or even weeks further on. So, I mean, it depends. So if you've been to, say, a wedding and taken loads of photos, you might want to separate them by hour. But if you've been on holiday for 2 weeks, you want to split them by day or something, for example. So perhaps the current one of a week between each group works quite nicely because it's 5
Well,
groups.
the sort of winter things.
Yes.
I can't remember what they are.
And if it's clear that, like, if that's, say that were clearly a wedding, you could click on this, enter a name, and call it so and so's wedding or something. If you want to see what's in each group, just click anywhere in this kind of space here. Yep, it's anywhere in there. And see, it shows us what photos are in there. And anything ticked, and they're all ticked by default, will be put onto your computer. So for I mean, if you're doing it at home, you might want to take time and make sure you name each one what you want. But it can always be done later as well. So let's just do import here. Now this shouldn't take too long as we've only got 90. If you were doing it at home and you find yourself running out of space on the camera, you'd want to do erase after importing. But we don't right now, obviously, because this is onto our computer, or home one.
Yeah, no.
And this takes a
Oh yes, and an architectural visit to the City of London. That's what most of these are.
Ah, that's cool. I trained originally as a civil engineer.
Oh really? I hadn't really walked around the city since I'd stopped work, sort of 15 years ago.
It's changed quite a lot.
Yeah, I was amazed at what's gone on. Yeah.
They're building the Bishopsgate Tower at the moment.
Yeah,
which is sort of the kind of the helter-skelter style.
Yeah.
That's quite a nice bit of architecture.
But although a lot of people say, oh, you know, all this modern building, I think without it would have just atrophied. But it really has kept it alive.
I do like the kind of the modern glass.
I think is superb.
Oh, it's excellent.
I mean, it's stupid shape of a building from an office development point of view.
It's horrible.
You would never come a shape like that, but it's
I heard they have kind of a policy where they don't allow any kind of just basic towers. It always has to be something interesting. Which I quite like actually. Because
I mean, in Tower 42, I think looks quite elegant.
Which one's that?
Westminster, NatWest.
The NatWest one, yes, of course.
Probably.
And they've got the Shard, which is almost done.
The Shard's nearly finished, yeah.
I do like that.
Right. So it's that's as I'm getting them on my computer in these months.
Yeah.
But I say when I go into my pictures, I don't find this lot. So
it's here. They should be here because here, see where it's indented. That means it's kind of so inside my pictures. We have these. In this case, 5 folders, which are all dates.
I mean, probably when I want to find them, I just go back into my
picture gallery
rather than my pictures. It's just I was so trained on my old computer when I wanted photographs, it was my pictures.
Yes,
I didn't have this.
They will still be in my pictures.
Right.
If we named one of these groups, so for example, let's just have a look. Which one of these is the so do you know where this is, for example?
Chess Valley.
Let's just rename that.
Yes,
how do you spell that?
Chess as in game.
As in the game, okay.
Yeah. It's one of the nicest walks around.
It does look nice, I can say. Where is that, actually?
It runs up from Rickmansworth up to Chesham.
Oh, very nice.
And it's a lovely chalk trout stream.
I think I might have
with Cheney's. That was Sarah.
Is it kind of one of those pub walks?
Well, there are pubs on it. Yeah.
I know, but it's, as a kid, my dad had a book of all those of them. We did them. I do recognise it. It's nice. Here, see, this has been renamed Chance Valley. The defaults are all by dates.
Yeah.
And if we just click on that, it just shows us photos in this group. We want to see all of them, my pictures, and it shows us everything, including them. And so if we were to go to my pictures, see they're all in here, but they're all in folders by date. And so what you might get when you put them on is just these dates, which look a bit kind of, oh no, it's hard to tell what's in there without poke around. So if you name them, it's a bit easier.
Right. Okay.
But the photo gallery is generally a slightly better way of sorting them out because it's.
I was very impressed with this.
Amongst other things, you can see them all.
Yeah.
And if in doubt, you can always just zoom it in quite a lot, so you can easily see everything. But obviously, it takes long to get them there. I mean, they're quite good, very good photos, actually. What we can do is.
That's not West Tower.
Let's see if this works. Straighten button up here. I can't find any edges. Sometimes it gets confused. There's lots of lines. In that case, there are. And also, it's a good photo already, so there's not much that can be done with it. I think that's slightly askew. That's what I want. There we go.
That's
very slightly.
Yes, it is a bit. Yeah.
There we go. That's a bit better.
All right.
And it picks up on the straight lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I will warn you in advance. It's not 100% perfect. I once found someone wearing a stripy shirt with diagonal stripes. And they put them as being It's, but most of the time, it's very good. And we can also do things like adjusting the exposure a little bit. If you just hold the mouse over them, it shows you. It depends if you're the more moody or the more kind of just right, and you can mess around with it to your heart's content.
Well, when you've done that,
is
that it? Has it corrected it forever?
You can,
or will it revert back to what it was?
No matter if we do lots of little changes, I'm just going to kind of do stuff at random. So let's crop it a bit, and let's make it black and white. We have this undo button up here.
Yes.
So every time we click that, it takes off one step. If you've accidentally gone too far, you can always put redo, which puts back on the steps.
Right.
And you can do as many as you want. Now, what there also is, and as long as you're using the same computer, if you come back in 5 years' time, revert to original button. So with one click, it's gone back to how it was in the first place. It's even taken off the straightening. It takes off everything back to how it was when you took it off your camera. So you can always get back. If in doubt...
But I mean, sensibly, you want to straighten it, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's as it should be now.
And if you wanted to do something, kind of perhaps keep the original, but you want to do something a bit more artistic, kind of, for example, there's also the make a copy, which makes an exact copy of the photo, which is this button here, which I'll find a slightly better example. Let's just straighten up. It saves everything by itself, and this comes up every time to tell you that. I mean, you can always make it not do that if it gets annoying, but it's nice to know. I mean, for example, these are very good photos, I have to say. So, I mean, some of these draws would be kind of postcard style ones. I'll try to find a good example for this. So let's say this thing just to crop out a bit. What's that? Is that the back of St Paul's?
Yeah.
Yes. So just as a hypothetical example, so we might want to keep this original, but we also might want a version, say, I don't know, say just this half, just as an example. So we can make a copy, and this is just its saving. See, this is the file name. It's long number. It's identical in every way except there's a 2 at the end. That's all. So we save that, and that will be saved, and I'll show you where that is in a second. So now we can go and mess around with this a little bit. Let's crop out everything outside of it. And let's make it black and white. And perhaps not much else we can really do with that. When it's black and white or round scale, and things like the exposure doesn't really make too much difference, obviously. I'm just messing about there. So we can close that. It saves again. And so here we have this edited one, and we made a copy of the original. So that you can always have a backup of the original as well. And if we wanted to, even if we hadn't made that, or we don't like this anymore, open it up and just revert to original. Are you sure you want to revert?
Yes.
It puts it back. So it remembers everything you've done. And it kind of keeps the bits you've cut out in the background, as it were.
Is it technically possible to take that car out of there?
Yes, but not without...
Not easy.
Yeah,
if it were a simple background, you could probably do it.
Yeah, it's not something though that I could, because obviously you don't know what's behind it, and also...
it's a bit of a messy background, isn't
I mean, you would need a program called Photoshop. Now, Photoshop is a slightly unusual...
That's where I've probably seen it.
You can do pretty much anything with a photo in Photoshop.
Yeah.
What Photoshop is bad at is the simple things.
Yeah.
Because it it can't just treat something as kind of a simple object. Everything's kind of something special, if that makes sense. It can't do the simple things well, which this is very... Most things you probably want to do with most of your photos, like red eye and things. This is by far the best thing for, because it's all just one click, one button.
Yeah.
Photoshop, I mean, I don't really use it for much anyway. It's one of those things that kind of is the professional £1,000 bit of software.
Yeah, I play golf with a guy who's chairman of American Photographic Society, and I think I've probably picked up the vibes from him on it.
Ah, yes.
I mean, he really does.
It's very good, but it's I mean, I find it as complicated as hell. It's pretty specialist bit of kit.
Life's too short really to do all this fiddling.
Exactly. I mean, it's good if you're in that business.
Have I got any red eyes? I'm not sure.
That's what I was just looking for.
I don't take a lot of people. That's my grandson.
Maybe that we could have a go with. Let's zoom in a bit.
Yes, there is a bit.
Hopefully this will work. It doesn't always work. It's applying. Doesn't like me. No, it just doesn't like me today. It's because the eyelash is in the way.
In any case, how does it know which way to go?
It looks for the kind of red with a particular red eyelash.
Yeah, I know, but what's it then go to?
It goes with what's inside. It goes to basically black, or the colour of the rest of the eye. The other thing we can do in a similar bit of is we can take out, let's see if we can find some. Some people have a thing about kind of blemishes or the like. They don't like having photos, so perhaps try taking out, say, this slight mark here, just an example. Whoops, that's a little bit too far. This is a little hand. We can click on drag. So, for example, this little mole here, you see, do retouch, and this works by it kind of merges the colours around it together.
Just looks for surroundings.
Yeah, and we do that, and it's gone. It's pretty handy. Some people get really kind of fussy about things like that. I mean, obviously, try not to get carried away. Otherwise, you can be there all day. Especially if someone's freckles. That's And again, it all saves itself. Now, with that car, that is a bit of a difficult one because it's
it was just
with this one though, we could very easily crop. So you've got these little corners.
Yes.
That shows you where the new area.
Well, you need to get the windows in, otherwise it doesn't make sense.
Of course.
Right.
So we can go all the way up to as close as we can to the car.
Yeah.
It's gone. You can see it's a bit of the shadow, but we can always adjust that as well.
Yeah.
And so that looks a bit. I mean, apart from the bus stop, that looks a bit more.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, it looks like it's the boot at Sarah's, you know.
In fact, we could try and be cheeky here. I zoomed in too far, so I might just say. But I wonder, and I haven't tried this before, if we could retouch that area. I think that's probably a no. Not really. Just to see if we can. Well, that looks a little bit better. Maybe, not so much. It was just an idea.
What would it do to that lamp?
The lamp. All sorts of crazy things. The way it works is from the top left to the bottom right.
So you hit retouch first, do you?
Yeah. And that's turned it off. Sorry, it was already on. Yeah. And so you've got this little cross. So you go to the top left of the area you're going to want to change.
Top left.
So about there. Yeah, and hold and drag. And so it's a slight dotted. It's very faint because against a white background. This is going to distort it quite badly, I fear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we just undo that?
No, it's not getting rid, is it?
No, it's not going to.
No, just...
that you probably need Photoshop for.
Pardon?
You probably need Photoshop for that.
Yeah.
Possibly...
No, I'm just curious as to what its capabilities were.
I mean, it's limited. I'm not going to lie, it says, but what it does quite well for little touch-ups, kind of.
This puts crop on, does it?
Yes. Oh, left click, sorry, on that. Just click somewhere else, kind of at random, just to get rid of that little menu. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean,
see these little squares?
yeah.
That anything they touch, it'll adjust that edge. So this square will only move this edge. So you put your mouse over the actual square.
Over the square?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down a little bit. See this little tiny white square here?
Yeah.
So I have to go down a bit. So it'll change to a little. Should change to a little two-headed arrow.
Four-headed.
This way, but there we go. Four-headed means it'll move the entire box. So there we go, the two-headed one. So that just moves this edge.
Yeah.
And likewise, the corners move the two edges they're touching.
What do you do then? Just
so do you want this area as new photo?
to just yeah.
So just hit enter. Oh.
Right. Yeah.
That's probably the best you're going to get out of it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's taking the dustbin out and it's taking that lamp out, and it's kept the windows. Yeah, no,
that's quite good. And we can that'll save itself.
Might do a painting of that.
Right. It's very good for for the simple things. It's good at. I think the red eye thing though is quite technologically it's very difficult to do, and it's made it quite simple. I mean, architecture is not much red eye in architecture.
No, there isn't. I mean that's NatWest Tower taken through the reflected into the gherkin. Yeah.
We can probably straighten this one up. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a little bit neater.
Yeah.
Shoot, what we can do as well is your grandson.
Yeah.
Here we have this thing called tag and caption. And so over here, see, it's already found. It knows what a face looks like. So it knows that's a face. It knows that's a face. So we click on that. What's his name?
James.
James. And I take it as his dad.
That's his dad,
yeah.
Ian.
Ian. A-N or one usual spelling?
A-N.
Right. You get some odd spellings here. So that it knows is them. And we get another photo. So it found his face. That's James. So up here, it's now got photos of the people we've tagged. So we click on James. It shows us all the photos we've tagged of James. Obviously, there's only two for now. But I mean, when it comes to one of his birthdays, you can find all the photos of him and make a nice, embarrassing montage of which he'll love.
Yeah.
And it's quite useful for finding where's that photo of James or John or whoever. It's pretty handy for that. And once you've tagged maybe a dozen or so photos of someone, it can start working out what they look like. And it'll say, when you put any photos on, is this James? Yes. Is this James? Yes. Is this James? Yes. And so on. So it won't get all of the photos of him, but it can save you a lot of time, and it is very useful.
Mm-hmm.
And we can also add things called geotags, which are locations. And again, they're searchable in the same way you could search for pictures of James, you could search for pictures in a certain place. And also descriptive tags as well. So when it's not a location or a person, but like holiday 2011, you could search for them as well. And also a caption, like you might on the Polaroid. So, me and my wife on a beach in Spain or something, depending on what you wanted. And they're searchable as well.
I'm just thinking that the method I use. I mean, I'm now these will go on file as winter 2011/12.
A glass of water.
No, it's alright. If I want to track them back, I do it through my diary.
Well, actually,
It's somewhat a technological way of doing it, but it
just click on one photo. It will tell you the date it's been taken on and the time exactly, which is quite useful as well. So you can work out more or less
which way around we went. Yeah.
Yes, and you can be fairly obviously in London.
Well, it will actually be fairly complicated because we did a walk with a guy from English Heritage who took us round these, and he got us from St Paul's up to Liverpool Street, where we had lunch.
All right.
And then I had a book on walks in the city, so we retraced our steps back to St Paul's using this boat, so we did cover some of the same territory twice actually. In fact, no, we ended up at Tower Bridge. That was that was where the walk ended. Absolutely gorgeous day it was. End of November.
In November.
Yeah.
The weather was good back then.
Yeah.
The Shard.
Yeah. That obviously is maximum magnification because it's across the river.
It's that top of Guy's as well.
I guess it must be. Yeah.
It's a big building.
Yeah.
It's in Europe, I believe.
They put the top. Yeah, it is. They put the top on this month, didn't they?
I'm looking forward to the top being opened.
Yeah.
A wonderful view.
See, that was an interesting shot walking on the embankment.
Oh yes.
Near Billingsgate, this reflective glass with the Wren Church coming through it.
There's another one I saw a second ago, similar in the Gherkin. This one.
Yeah.
I like that one. It's rather clever.
Yeah, it's really defragmented, isn't it? Yeah.
It's quite nice the way that's happened. I haven't been in the city for ages.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, as I say.
Nice.
My daughter bought the present for me, the guided walk, as a birthday present.
Oh.
Well, she's chairman of Unique Venues of London, which is a marketing organisation to market the smaller organisations in London, not the really big ones. I mean, still places like Somerset House and London Eye she does. So she's in the know of all these things, and she obviously spotted this and bought it.
Thought it was
for
up
a
the street.
birthday, yeah. And it was great, it really was.
It does look good. Where's this?
Which one?
It's Christmas Eve, I think.
Oh, it's the candlelit carol service. It's not really come out very well, has it?
We might be able to do something with the lighting here. Perhaps one of these, maybe?
That's better, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, the church is wholly lit by candles.
Not too much can do with the colour. Obviously, photos in the dark are always going to be a little.
Oh yeah, I like messing around with the digital. You can get some interesting effect. Mainly if you stick your camera on something solid.
Oh yes. But it's that's quite nice. Have you ever been to the one in St Albans Cathedral?
No.
It's difficult to get tickets.
It is difficult to get. We are full every year. We're at capacity. But,
where is that church?
It's King's Langley. Yeah.
The St Albans one I think is very nice.
I mean, obviously, it's a it's a medieval village parish church, mainly 14th century, but there are different bits. And in this corner, we have the first Duke of York buried.
Really?
King's Langley was a royal village at one time.
In fact, the name, I guess.
It was ruled. England was ruled from King's Langley for 2 or 3 years during the Black Death.
Very strange.
Not many people know that.
I think Winchester was at one point.
Yes,
King's Langley seems a bit.
Yeah, no, I mean it's sort of pub quiz question. You never get right, isn't it?
No. Now I know.
No, that's certainly improved that, isn't it?
It makes it a bit easier to see what's going on.
Yeah. Good.
Well, I hope it's
right. Well, that's been interesting.
Yes, your photos should all be in my pictures. They're just possibly stored on different things. The thing to look for.
I'll have a play around when I get back.
Once it's saved, when you change the light, it takes a while for it to save because it's changed the entire look of the photo in the computer's mind. Anyway, this is how your files are organised on your computer, but it's only looking at pictures. So where it says my pictures, they should all be under there. If they're not, something's gone a little bit wrong and it's something they've been imported. They're still be on your computer and it could be quite easily fixed. Yeah. But they should be there. So if they're under my pictures and lots of files, that's where they'll be as well, if that makes sense. Yeah. But this is the best way to see everything at once. Right. Hang on, I'll get it out for you. It's still on the computer. This is a little dust cover.
Oh, I see. Right. I thought you couldn't tell.
I just keep it in hand because on before, without realising it, people have left with the card in. Yeah. And so it reminds me to take it out. I hope that's useful. I think it should be that way. That's the one. There you go.
Good. Right.